Okay, yesterday I didn't explain real well the differences in the kinds of continuities and their limits, whether they had a limit or not. So I wanted to go through that with you. So hang on, let me get a pen. Okay, so we'll go through if this is a removable. There's two kinds of removables. There's one that looks like this, where the graph does this kind of thing. And there's another one where the graph does a similar thing, but then it's defined at a different point. These are both removables because if I were to remove that little hole there, it would be continuous. And same thing here. That's why they call it removable. Well, in order to have a limit, let's write it down here. To have a limit at, we're going to look at x equals 2 every time just so it's all the same across the board. In order to have a limit at 2, the graph has to come into the same point from both sides to approach the same y from left and right. I'll show you what I mean. So like this graph, comes in from this way to y equals 3. So from the left, L is equal to 3, and from the right, L is equal to 3. So we would say this has a limit. This one from the left, L equals 3, and from the right, L equals 3. At this point, we don't care that at 2 it's a different number. We'll talk about that later. And then we have what's called a step discontinuity. So that's when the graph does this. Now if you look at this one, from the left, the graph approaches 4, but from the right, the graph approaches 3. From the right of 2, it approaches 3. So we would say no. And then you have, and I think I'm going to explain this more later, but the book seems to have done it right here. And then you have what's called an infinite discontinuity. That's where the graph takes off at the point 2 and heads to infinity or negative infinity. Now if you look from the left, this goes to positive infinity, that way. And from the right, this goes to positive infinity. If I come in from the right hand side, it heads up. So we would say yes. Here's another infinite one. At 2. This one from the left goes to positive infinity, but from the right goes to negative infinity. So this is a no, because it goes in at it approaches 2 different numbers as you get closer to 2. I hope it helps you with your homework. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to try and get another video done tonight. We'll see. Please tell me that recorded.